James all the way down the line for the Giants, and we'll be back for the first pitch in just a moment. All right, let's see if we can do that one again.
Hi.
Giants brought to you by Taco Bell. Think outside the bun. Eugenio Velez leading off at second. Randy Wynn will be in left field. Pablo Sandoval will be at third. And last night's batting hero, Benji Molina, catching batting cleanup. Juan Uribe will be at shortstop today. Nate Shearholtz will be in right. Aaron Rowand is in center field. Travis Ishikawa will be the first baseman. Matt Cain on the mound. Facing a strikeout pitcher, Giovanni Gallardo, who leads the Brewers with 12 wins on the year, 2 extra days rest for his start here, has been a lot more effective at home than he has been on the road, Eric.
Well, he really has. He's looking for a repeat performance. On June 26th, he beat Matt Cain, allowing only 1 run, struck out 9 and 7 2/3. He's got to be economical. We talked to Ken Maka before the game. He has thrown more pitches this year than he has in his career. They're watching him. They don't want him to fatigue.
And that is the sprint pitcher profile for Gallardo, and we're all set to play now. So reach for the perfect combination of flavor and refreshment. Budweiser, the great American lager. And we're set to go as the Giants and the Brewers go at it. And the fans have really supported Milwaukee, despite the fact that they come into the game 65 and 69. 14 games behind the Cardinals. They've sold 3 million tickets this year. And Eugenio Velez leading off. And the first pitch down low, ball 1. Casey McGee playing in at third base for Velez, who's played 59 games for the Giants. The switch hitter hitting .278 with 4 homers and 19 runs batted in. Played left field last night in the game won by the Giants 3-2.
Well, Velez also went down earlier this year to the minor leagues, and after that stint came back up and has been more productive. You know, he isn't the answer at second base. Giants waiting for the return of Freddie Sanchez, but he has filled in admirably.
And has been in the leadoff position since the beginning of August, replacing Aaron Rowand in that spot. Here's the 1-1 pitch. It's a breaking ball that misses. 2 balls and 1 strike. So Gallardo, who had no decision in his last outing against Pittsburgh in a game that the Brewers won last Saturday, making his 5th career start against the Giants. 2-0 this year, as you mentioned, beat Matt Cain. 3-1 in his career. And a foul out of play, and the count 2 balls and 2 strikes.
And this is a free swinging Giant ball club. They're not going to go up there and take a lot of pitches, work the counts. They're going up there and they are going to swing. And just in that instance, 2-1 as a leadoff hitter, unless you get a pitch right there, work the count some more.
Bruce Bochy wishes his team's a lot more patient at the plate, but this is the style of this ball club, and a ground ball back to the mound. Gallardo makes the play. Velez is retired for the first out. Let's take a look now at the Brewers, who are 11th in fielding. Braun, Garrett, and Catalanato. McGee at third, Hardy at short, Lopez at second, and Fielder at first. And the battery, Jason Kendall behind the plate, and Gallardo, who will now be facing the second of the first 3 switch hitters he'll have to face here. Randy Wynn, hitting .263 with 2 homers and 47 runs batted in. Giants have won 4 of the 7 games against the Brewers so far this year. The fastball is in for a strike. They had lost 2 out of 3 earlier the year in Milwaukee. In fact, they have had a lot of trouble winning here in Brewtown, the Ken Maka's team, over the years. Because Maka, in his first year with the Brewers, as the Giants have lost 16 of their last 21 here in Milwaukee. 1-1 the count to Win. Pablo Sandoval is on deck for the Giants, and a foul at the plate. 1-2.
Well, and you talk about the futility of the Giants at this ballpark, and this was preceded by a trip to Philadelphia where they haven't won a series since 2004. So really an important road trip for this ball club. Right now they're 2-2. They've got today, tomorrow before they head back home.
And the Gallardo's 1-2 pitch just misses. 2 balls and 2 strikes. And you talk about going home, as the Giants, when they come home, will have 21 of their last 25 games against divisional foes. And you talk about how have they done against the National League West. They are 26-25, so they haven't fared as well against teams in their own division as they had against the rest of the league.
No, they really haven't. And if you look at the division, I mean, the team that separated themselves from everybody else has been the Los Angeles Dodgers as far as play within the division. But San Francisco will have their own destiny in their hands.
Here's the 2-2 pitch. Breaking ball grounded to Lopez at second. And Randy Wynn is retired for the second out. Let's take a look at the umpiring crew today. The crew chief, Dale Scott, behind the plate. Rob Drake is at first. Jerry Meals will be out at second base, and Mike DeMuro at third. Well, one of the more colorful players in baseball, Pablo Sandoval. And for all intents and purposes, the only really major offensive threat the Giants have boasted. And here he comes up. Switch hitter, 21 homers, 75 runs batted in. 2 down, nobody on. Ball 1 outside. A lot of nicknames for Sandoval. And King Fu Panda was the Panda, which was given to him by Barry Zito. Zorro, round mound and pound. And I guess that list is going to go up as he takes a wild swing on a fastball up in the zone. And it's 1-1. So Barry Zito giving Pablo Sandoval the nickname. And he kind of enjoys all of it.
Well, if you've ever seen the movie Kung Fu Panda, I mean, he fits the bill.
2-1.
You know, just a large, lovable guy that can do everything. I mean, when you look at him initially, you think, man, can this guy really play? But he can hit, can throw with his right hand or left hand, can play a number of positions.
And it's 3 balls and a strike to Sandoval, who is 1 for 11 in his last 3 games. He's been wearing that walking boot, as you see Benji Molina on deck, on his right leg to help stretch his injured calf. And it's chopped hard to shortstop J.J. Hardy. 3 ground balls, 3 outs for Gallardo in the first. The Giants are out in order. The Brewers coming up. For the Brewers, brought to you by Taco Bell. Think outside the bun. Felipe Lopez leading off. Frank Catalanato batting second. Ryan Braun and Prince Fielder 3 and 4 as they always are. Casey McGee looking good batting fifth. Jody Garrett will be hitting sixth. J.J. Hardy in the 7th spot. Jason Kendall hitting 8th. And Yovani Gallardo batting ninth. And the first pitch to Felipe Lopez. This is for ball 1. Lopez, a switch hitter. Acquired from the Diamondbacks late in July, hitting .309 and hitting a lot better, .331 from the left side. Pitch in for the strike, 1-1. Lopez hitting .325 in 41 games for the Brewers, and an off-speed pitch is in there for strike 2. Lopez, Catalanato, and Braun against Matt Cain, 12 and 4 on the year. And the pitch is inside. Cain has been stuck on 12 wins in his last 7 starts, other than a no decision or loss since July 29th. So he's looking to get out of neutral and give the Giants a win. Count is 2 balls and 2 strikes to Lopez. And a ground ball to the right side. Going over is Ishikawa, covering and making the play. Good hustle that time by Cain on the throw from Velez, and there's one away. And here is the sprint pitcher profile for Matt Cain, who comes into the game with the 3rd best earned run average in the National League at 2.50.
When Matt Cain first came up, he was a thrower. He tried to throw it by everybody. He's learned how to pitch this year, using his off-speed stuff a lot more. And as you mentioned, he's just got to get some run support. I mean, in his last 14, he's 3-3 with a 2.61 ERA because they're only averaging 2.6 runs a game for him. Offense needs to give him some support.
Here's Catalanato on the first pitch, a slow roller to Velez, and the throw is in time for the out. 2 down on 2 ground balls to the Giants' second baseman, and that will bring up Ryan Braun. Next home run for Ryan Braun will be the 100th of his career, and he's done it in 3 seasons. That would be the 6th best in Major League history, and then it gets even tougher for the Giants with Prince Fielder on deck.
You talk about those two, arguably the best righty-lefty power combination in the game.
Foul back. Braun, 6th in the league at 311 coming into this game, and 9th with 28 homers.
Well, you talk about the righty-lefty combination. You couple that with the fact both of these players are young sluggers. Ryan Braun signed to a multi-year deal. Prince Fielder, year to year. It'll be interesting to see what happens to him in his future.
The 0-1 pitch is missed, and it's 0-2. The Brewers come in having lost 3 of their last 4. And when you consider that on July the 4th, they were in a tie with the Cardinals for first place in the National League Central, Ken Maka's club, 43-38. And they have been 9 games under 500 since that time. And we know the story of the Cardinals. They have gone wild. And the pitch is hit in the air to the infield. Velez making the catch. Handles all 3 plays. 1, 2, 3 innings for Kane. We go to the second, no score. Sponsored by Sprint. Get more done with Nextel Direct Connect, only from the Now Network. By Taco Bell, think outside the bun. And by Progressive Insurance, the freedom to name your price. Giants coming up in the second inning. Benji Molina leading off. And last night, Molina hit the first pitch in the 8th inning. Straightaway center field for the home run that proved to be the game-winning hit. 3-2 the Giants win, and all Benji said after the game was finally. In the last 16 it was hitting .204 with only 3 home runs.
Well, he comes in last night against Coffee and hits the fastball over the center field wall. It's his second big home run he's had in the last week and a half, and again the offense has been far and few between, but when they do get their hits they count.
Molina did not start in 8 games with a strained right quad before coming back against the Phillies, and the Giants are pleased that he is. And by the way, the home run last night was his 21st game-winning RBI, which leads all of Major League Baseball. And the Giants will need his bat to go along with Sandoval and anyone else who will come in and help them get some runs. 1-1 pitch from Gallardo, and the pitch fouled at the plate, 1-2.
Well, it's interesting you bring that number up because this year is arguably one of his worst as far as hitting with runners in scoring position, somewhere around 230. But although that number is not high, the importance of the runs he drives in this year have been absolutely astounding.
Giovanni Gallardo, biggest winner on the Brewers staff, strikes out Molina on a fastball, his first strikeout. Coming into the game is Gallardo, 4th in the National League, now has 187 strikeouts.
Well, we talked about how free swinging the San Francisco Giant ball club is. And, against a guy like Gallardo, you arguably want to go up there because he's not around the plate all the time and take pitches. Make him get his pitch count up. But this Giant ball club, that's not their personality.
Juan Uribe playing shortstop today. Fouls off the first pitch, played second base last night, and there's a lot of questions concerning where he will play when Freddie Sanchez comes back. He's injured his shoulder and has been in rehab, and there was thought that perhaps he would be back before this series was over, and we're going to get a chance to ask Bruce Bochy about that decision when we talk to him. Breaking ball misses, and it's 1-1.
Well, again, you can move Uribe to third base, Sandoval to first. But again, it's all contingent on if Uribe's still hitting. He throws a few 0 for games, and then that point becomes moot.
Breaking ball and a fair ball. It's going to be trouble. And no throw as Uribe will beat out an infield hit. And the first base runner of the game. Giants have it with 1 out and 1 on here in the second. Well, this season, stay connected to MLB on Fox by following us on Twitter. So go to twitter.com/MLB on Fox. And Fox Sports is now on both MySpace and Facebook. Get breaking news, notes, video clips, and more. Just go to myspace.com/Fox Sports or facebook.com/Fox Sports and join the community, and a growing community it is. Nate Shearholtz, the Giants right fielder, takes high ball 1. Coming in batting .273, 5 homers, 28 runs batted in his first full season. Came off the DL in mid-August. He was out for 14 games with a hip injury. Another breaking pitch up high, and it's 2-0.
Well, it looked like Jason Kendall got crossed up on that pitch. It was a breaking ball, and I think he expected something else. Watch this right here. You see Jason Kendall down, and he's going up and not sure what that is, and goes out to straighten things out with Gallardo.
How tough it's been to hit Gallardo, who is 4th in the league coming in. Opposition hitting .214 against him in the afternoon. His ERA is tremendous at 2.48. So he's pitching in daylight, which Gallardo likes to do. And the 23-year-old right-hander, who was born in Mexico and grew up in Fort Worth, Texas, behind 2-1 to Shearholtz. Uribe with the lead at first base, held on by fielder. Fastball for the strike. 2-2. Talking about the Giants' finish, they'll have 6 games against the Dodgers. As you look at the straightaway way that the Brewers are playing, Shearholtz. 3 games against the Colorado Rockies, but all at home. And the foul tip into the glove of Kendall, and Shearholtz goes down for the second out.
Gallardo goes after him with the off-speed pitch right there. Shearholtz out in front. Take a look at this. Ball just drops out of the zone. Shearholtz not having much of an opportunity. You couple that with the shadows, too, that we've got. 2 excellent pitchers. To be a hitter today, you've really got to battle.
And you see the shadows now developing on the infield just past the first base area and then into the left and center field section. 2 down, Aaron Rowan the hitter, and he'll take strike 1. Rowan coming in hitting .275. 13 home runs, 55 runs batted in.
If you look at those shadows, Dick, you're talking about not just one isolated place. You're talking about because of some of the beams up there. You see a beam here, then some sun beam. So it's really going to be a bear for the hitters.
1 ball, 1 strike to Aaron Rowan, whose RBI single tied last night's game at 2-2. Rowan part of the back-to-back home run effort on Wednesday against the Phillies with Juan Uribe, and an exciting series that was for the Giants. Lost 2 out of 3. Pop-up and a play for fielder, and he makes it for the 3rd out. 1 hit on an infield hit, 1 left, and we go to the bottom of the second, no score. by Budweiser. Reach for the perfect combination of flavor and refreshment. Budweiser, the great American lager. Prince Fielder, Casey McGee, and Jody Garrett will be the three hitters to face Matt Cain, who we mentioned has a 2.50 earned run average, and on the road just a little bit better than that as his first pitch misses to Fielder. Prince Fielder coming in fourth in the league with 36 home runs, but 121 runs batted in, leading the major leagues. Pop up, and Benji Molina lost track of it, but it's well out of play into the second deck. You want to look at the fastest Brewers to 150 home runs. Leading the way is Prince Fielder. Jeremy Burnitz and Gorman Thomas following. Foul ball, and Fielder has a chance to become the second Brewer to lead the major leagues in RBI. Cecil Cooper, who's now the manager of the Houston Astros, accomplished it twice. One of those years ended up in a tie with Jim Rice, who entered the Hall of Fame this year.
And remember, Cecil Cooper was doing it basically not as a power hitter. A lot of doubles, not a lot of home runs, not like Fielder.
2 balls and 2 strikes on that fastball inside by Matt Cain. There you see a Fielder coming in, leading Albert Pujols by 5 in the RBI parade. And a broken bat fly ball. Shearholz coming over to make the catch, and that bat lands in the outfield grass. That's how far that one went. And there's one away. Velez had to take cover on that fly ball.
You see Matt Cain getting in on the hands of Fielder. Just shatters the bat. Big man still strong enough to get it at the outfield. But again, because of the shadows, the pitchers today would not want to be up at the plate.
Here's Casey McGee. And McGee takes a breaking ball for a strike. McGee has had the hot hand as Fielder retired for the first out here in the second. McGee has driven in 10 runs in the last 5 games. He knocked in 9 in the 3-game series against the Cardinals, where the Brewers won 1 out of 3. So there's everything to like about Casey McGee, 26 years old, who made the opening day roster for Ken Maka.
Well, he's done a nice job. You know, again, I don't think anybody expected him to be protecting Prince Fielder. Ken Maka telling us before the game that, you know, McGee's been given an opportunity. He's run with it.
And a check swing roller, another tough play. Sandoval will not make the throw wisely, as he could have risked making an errant toss. So an infield hit for Casey McGee, and the first hit for the Brewers. So each team has had a base runner, both by virtue of an infield hit.
Well, really a smart play by Sandoval. He plays back, he comes in. You know, a lot of guys might try to make the great play right there. He recognizes there is no play, therefore he eats it. Doesn't want to compound things or get McGee to second base by making an errant throw. This is especially important when you're talking about a game that looks like is going to be a low-scoring game with the pitchers we have and with the shadows.
And aren't they all with the Giants?
Yeah, that's a great point.
Jody Garrett. Big swing and a miss on the off-speed pitch, and it's strike 1. Garrett hitting .212 and struggled his first 2 months with the Brewers after being acquired from the Padres, but has been looking better at the plate. And there you see Sandoval playing even with the bag at third, and the infield a double play depth for the Giants. Check it, McGee with his lead, and a foul back. 2 strikes to Jody Garrett.
Well, and if you're wondering, too, if anybody is going to do anything down at first base as far as running, neither one of these teams run at all. I mean, they're basically station to station. The Brewers at least have some power. The Giants are station to station to station to station. Not a lot of power.
Well, the Brewers are 14th in stolen bases with 51. The Giants are 10th, backing up your point. And there's a strike, fastball, and that'll be it for Garrett as he goes down on strikes. The first strike out of the game for Matt Cain. There are 2 down. Well, we want to talk about Cy Young possibilities. And, of course, the two Cardinals who have been doing great work, Chris Carpenter and Adam Wainwright, but look at the two Giants with Kane and Lincecum.
Now, you can't say enough about what the Giants have done, the staff, and really the pitchers going out there knowing that their offense isn't going to score a lot of runs. That puts an added pressure. You know, we just saw that graphic, the pictures of the Cy Young. The biggest influencer, as we see Tim Lincecum there on the right, Matt Cain there. The biggest influence, I think, is Albert Pujols, because he plays for the Cardinals. The Cardinals are running away with their division. It's a winning ball club. They're going to the playoffs, and that will absolutely influence the voters when it comes to Cy Young Award winner.
It always seems to, but the Giants battling for the playoff berth, and I don't know whether it's a disadvantage for either of these teams to have two candidates each.
Well, again, you get into that splitting of the votes, and then somebody might sneak in, but I'm not sure there's that fifth or sixth guy.
J.J. Hardy, the batter, no 1 ball and 2 strikes to J.J. Hardy, coming in hitting .230 with 11 homers, 46 runs batted in. And here are the Cardinals, who have gone 36-17 since they were tied with Milwaukee on July 4th. The Cubs have been basically a 500 team. And a huge lead for the Cardinals. Right now, 11 games. The Cubs beat the Mets today 5-3. Ground ball to shortstop. Uribe just gets the force to retire the side. 1 hit, 1 left. We move to the third. 0-0. By Budweiser, the great American lager. No score into the third inning, and the number 8 hitter for the Giants leading off against Giovanni Gallardo, Travis Ishikawa, first baseman. Ishikawa got the first hit off of Jeff Suppan last night. He had a no-hitter into the 5th inning, and a bloop single ended his hopes. Ishikawa's been hitting a lot better at home than he has on the road, and takes ball 2-0 from Gallardo.
You see Jeff Suppan right there, and he's cruising along, and then Ishikawa had the base hit, and then a misplay by Gold Glove winner Mike Cameron out in center field.
Foul ball, and it's 2 balls and a strike. Gallardo, as we mentioned, with a .214 opponent batting average. Second lowest in the league at home. The opponents are batting only .194 against him. 14 home starts. He is 7-5 with a 3.23 earned run average. Getting extra rest here. He's been throwing a lot of pitches throughout his career, actually.
It really has. And, you know, the thing about him also, we talk about some of the numbers. You know, he's third in the league as well in walks. But against a team like the Giants, you can basically throw that stat out the window. Because the Giants don't take pitches, they don't work counts. But against other ball clubs, more patient ball clubs, they try to exploit that when facing Gallardo.
Who is behind 3-1 to Ishikawa, and now it's ball 4. So we're talking about walks, and the Giants get one there. The leadoff walk here in the third inning. And that will bring up the pitcher, Matt Cain. Cain hitting .154 with 1 run batted in. Cain is 8 for 52 and a couple of doubles this year. McGee playing a couple of steps in at third. And the bunt, and it's right at his head. And that's one way to prevent the sacrifice. That's got to be scary for Matt Cain.
Well, that ball just continues to bear in, and that thing's up around the lips for Matt Cain. I'm sure he's not feeling too nimble in there in the box right now.
I'll tell you, then you got to wonder what happened if he misses it and he doesn't get his bat on that pitch. 0-1 the count on the foul ball. And another fastball up and in on Cain. And it's 1-1 now.
Well, and that's the thing that always gets me about, you know, people when they talk about, oh, the guy couldn't get the bunt down, and oh, this is ridiculous, get the bunt down. Well, it's not like you're just bunting in the batting cages and somebody just lobbing it right in there and you're just putting it down. I mean, remember, that pitcher out there is trying to prevent you from getting the bunt down.
Get the pitch down before you get the bunt down. And there it is, another pitch up and in. And it's now 2 balls and a strike to Matt Cain, who is really facing a difficult at-bat right here.
Well, that's 3 up around the head right now. And, you know, that's where Gallardo, he has to make some sort of adjustment. Right now, what he's doing is, I'll tell you, he's going to make his at-bat against Cain interesting, because Matt Cain, 1 up there, 2 up there, but 3. I mean, this is the big leagues.
So already we have something simmering in this game with Gallardo going up and in high at Matt Cain. Throw to first base. Not much of a lead for Ishikawa. Count is 2 balls and a strike.
And Jason Kendall, the last 2 pitches, has set up away. So it's not as if they're trying to go inside.
And there's the bunt foul off to the right. 2 balls and 2 strikes. But Gallardo is known for not necessarily finding the target of his catcher.
Well, it's just like we mentioned. You know, there's a reason he's 3rd in the league in walks. He just doesn't have the consistency to repeat his delivery and throw strikes. You know, and you can see Matt Cain on that bunt attempt. You know, there wasn't really a lot of enthusiasm.
And squares around and takes strike 3. Breaking ball in for strike 3, and Matt Cain, after a couple of words with Dale Scott, will go back to the dugout. That'll be the 3rd strikeout for Gallardo, and there's 1 out here in the 3rd.
So anybody that talks about how easy bunting should be, or it is, you know, I challenge him to go get an at-bat against Giovanni Gallardo in this situation and get the bunt down. I mean, you get 3 balls up around the head, then you get 1 that's up there. You know, you can't really be all fired up. You're a little tentative as a hitter, and then you get a breaking ball. I mean, that's about as difficult a time to have to bunt right there.
Eugenio Velez taking strike 1 with 1 out and 1 on here in the 3rd inning. No score, as Matt Cain trying to wear that one off in the dugout after several close calls in his first at-bat. Outfield playing Velez straight away. And the breaking pitch missing. 1 ball and 1 strike. And once again, the Brewers middle infield in double play depth.
Well, if you're Velez right now, just, you know, make Gallardo work. And obviously, he's demonstrated an inability to get the ball over the plate. It's a 1-1 count. look for something that you can hit. If it's not there, take it. Go to the 2 strikes.
Another breaking pitch, and it's 2 balls and a strike to Velez, who has been recalled 3 times this year by the Giants. So he's been up and down between San Francisco and their AAA farm club in Fresno. 2-1 with 1 out here in the top of the 3rd inning. The Giants with a win last night and trailing the Colorado Rockies, who played tonight. And the throw to first base. And Jose Contreras will be making his first start in a Rockies uniform against the Diamondbacks. I think the White Sox just felt they had enough of Contreras.
I think you're right. I don't think that they felt that he was going to get much better. They had seen enough. I think that's a nice pickup for the Rockies. I think he'll pitch well tonight. He's a guy that throws from a bunch of different angles, has a lot of breaking pitches, and he will face a young Diamondbacks ball club. I think he has a chance to exploit that offense.
2 balls and a strike with 1 out, and just missing. And it's now 3-1. So after the leadoff walk to Ishikawa, Gallardo falls behind Velez with Randy Wynn on deck. Gallardo, in 27 outings, the fewest pitches he has thrown in a game is 93. He's gone over the 100 mark 23 times. This is his 46th pitch of the game, and he walks Velez. So 2 walks here in the 3rd inning, and the Giants with runners at first and second, 1 out, and Randy Wynn coming up.
Well, really a nice at-bat by Velez. And if you're Randy Wynn coming to the plate, you just mentioned he has the 2 walks, and those pitches to Kane, weren't anywhere close, really, outside of that breaking ball. You've got to demonstrate some patience right now to make Gallardo prove that he can get the ball over the plate.
So Randy Wynn, who grounded out to Felipe Lopez's first time, now 2 for his last 21. But with runners in scoring position and 2 outs, he has 1 here. He has been dynamite. His first pitch missing, ball 1 to Wynn. With Pablo Sandoval on deck for the Giants. There you see, as you mentioned, the Giants 30th in the major leagues in bases on balls. That's down low, 2-0.
And you can preach all you want, whether you're the hitting coach or the manager, but really the philosophy of going up there, seeing a lot of pitches, that's really ingrained as a hitter. That's not something that you're going to change your approach all of a sudden. And that sets at the foot of the general manager, the type of team that he assimilates and puts together.
Chris Bosio, the Brewers pitching coach, out to the mound. Bosio replaced Bill Castro in the middle of August with a couple of words to Gallardo, who has 12 wins and is the big winner on this Brewer pitching staff. And it's a pitching staff that sorely misses the likes of C.C. Sabathia and Ben Sheets, who were the forerunners last year when the Brewers made the postseason for the first time in 26 years. This year, a different season. 2-0 breaking ball, and Wynn swings and misses. 2-1.
I think in that situation, Randy Wynn had his mind made up that he was going to swing. Gallardo throws a breaking ball. I can't believe that he was looking to hit a breaking ball. But, with a young pitcher, he's just thrown 2 balls. Not sure I would have been as aggressive as Randy Wynn.
And a comebacker over to second for 1, and the throw to first. Double play, and a fielder looked like he didn't expect to throw that fast. Double play ends the Giants' threat. third inning. Jason Kendall leading off, and then Gallardo, the pitcher. It'll be interesting to see what happens with Kane on the mound and Gallardo at the plate as Jason Kendall takes ball one. Hitting .243 with a homer and 33 runs batted in. He's having a good year at the plate, and a foul ball down the third base line.
Well, we saw last inning Prince Fielder flinch at first base. See Gallardo get the ball, he throws to Hardy, makes a good strong throw. You see Prince Fielder kind of wincing. What that is, it's the shadows and the sun. You got the left field, you got sun, then you got shadows, and then you got sun before the ball gets to first base. And in day games, very difficult sometimes to pick up the ball. And you'll see guys out there, whether they catch it, and I'll tell you what, they're just as surprised as anybody that they caught the ball.
You talked about the beams and how they have the shadows in the sun as we look right now. And this is one of the few parks where first the infield is in sunshine, then not, and then it's in the sunlight again. And chasing is Kendall, and he strikes out for out number one in the third inning. And that is the second strikeout for Matt Cain. And here is Giovanni Gallardo, who's a pretty good hitter, by the way. Gallardo has a home run this year against Randy Johnson and a game-winning homer against the Pirates. Now let's see how Matt Cain plays it after those three pitches up in Matt Cain's face while trying to bunt. First one outside for a ball.
Well, I think if he is going to send a message, he's not going to be as deliberate or as obvious as throwing it the very first time Gallardo comes to the plate.
Ball strike, 1-1.
And you know, another thing too, you know, the retaliation, that always takes a back seat to winning a game. And right now the Giants, much more important to win a ball game than it is to try to send a message.
And that's a great point. You know, it's always the knee-jerk baseball rule. Well, you got to protect, you know, yourself when the other pitcher comes up. But the Giants have a big fish to fry, so to speak. And in a tight game like this, they have a good pitcher out there, and they want to keep him out there. 1-2 pitch, and Gallardo strikes out. So 2 strikeouts, 2 outs here in the third inning for the Brewers. Matt Cain, 12-4, and trying to win his 13th of the year, which would tie him with Tim Lincecum for the club lead, and Felipe Lopez, who bounced out to the right side his first time up.
I've got to believe he'll take the first pitch, wander around, try and give his pitcher Gallardo a rest.
First pitch in for the strike. Lopez was the Brewers player of the month in August, hit .325. And led them in hits and runs, but lately has been cold. 3 for his last 27. And fouls it off, and Matt Cain is ahead of Felipe Lopez, 2 strikes. So as the season goes into the last month, which of course includes the first week of October, the playoff picture really crystallizes. And, you know, of course, the 1-game lead in the wild card, but it's an interesting situation in the National League concerning how the possible playoff matchups would be. For example, in the 3 division leaders all year long, the Dodgers had the best record in the division, but it is tightened up to the point where right now the Phillies actually have 1 fewer loss than both the Cardinals and the Dodgers. So that's going to play a role in the wild card. It did not go around, and the count is full 3-2 to Lopez, because originally everyone thought, well, if the Giants or Rockies are the wild card, they can't play the Dodgers. They're in the same division. But now if the Phillies have the best record, they would play either Colorado or San Francisco. And the same goes for the Cardinals. Call, third strike, and Matt Cain strikes out the side in order. And after 3 complete, no score here in Milwaukee. No score into the fourth inning. Pablo Sandoval leading off for the Giants. Swings at the first pitch as he's wont to do and fouls it off for a strike. Sandoval bounced out to Hardy at shortstop, his first time up. Ninth in the league with 154 hits. Leads in doubles. And has been hitting from the left side more than 3 times as much as he has as a right-handed batter. No score, each team with a hit, and Sandoval fouls it off. 1 ball and 2 strikes. So I guess it's frustrating for the likes of a Carney Lansford, the hitting coach, and for people say, be patient. Easier said than done.
Well, it really is. And again, if the personality of the hitter, isn't about being patient, isn't about taking pitches, well, they're not going to do it. And not everybody should go up there and look at pitches and try to work counts. I mean, there's different styles of hitting.
Strike 3, Sandoval goes out. That's the 4th strikeout for Gallardo. And between innings, we had a chance to chat with Ken Maka, the Brewers manager. Hey, Ken, things were going swimmingly for you earlier in the year. You were 10 over 500, tied with the Cardinals in July. Injuries, pitching mishaps the rest of the way. What's in front of you?
What's in front of us? Well, we've gotten our rotation back. Jeff Suppan pitched a great game last night. He was out for about 6 weeks. David Bush has been back for 2 starts, and he had been out since, I think, in June sometime. So we got those guys back. Corey Hart is on rehab. He's coming back. He'll be able to play right field. We're not going to get Ricky Weeks back. So what's in front of us? Getting your rotation back, I think, is very important. That'll put a little less pressure, hopefully, on the bullpen. And, we played good ball before. There's no reason we can't now.
So the wish list coming this offseason as Christmas approaches, what do you ask Santa for?
Well, I think if you ask any manager in the major leagues, they're always looking for pitching. And, it'd be nice to have a starter that could go out there and you're depending on him to give you an 8 innings, so you can give your bullpen a complete day off. We really haven't had that. We've had a couple stretches where the bullpen's really been taxed. As a matter of fact, last week, I think we had a 5-day stretch where we had 30 innings out of the bullpen. There were a couple extra inning games, but that's a lot of work out of your bullpen.
Thanks very much, Ken. Appreciate it. Good luck. So Giovanni Gallardo getting Sandoval on strikes, and then Benji Molina flying out to right field, bringing up Juan Uribe, who has the only Giant hit, beating out an infield hit to third in the 2nd inning. 2 out, nobody on base, and a foul out of play. Shortstop J.J. Hardy playing deep at shortstop on the edge of the grass, and so far for Gallardo, 4 strikeouts. He has walked 2. Helped out by a double play, which ended the Giant threat when they had 2 runners on base last inning. Breaking pitch and a wild swing by Uribe, and it's 0-2.
Well, he did. He escaped the jam last inning, 3rd inning. 2 runners on, men on first and second. Randy Wynn at the plate, 2-0 count, and he throws a breaking ball. Randy Wynn goes after it. The next pitch he hits into a 1-6-3 double play. And I think Randy Wynn would love to have that at bat back and really that approach back.
1 ball and 2 strikes to Uribe, who's playing shortstop. Uribe moved into the second base position. Remember, Emmanuel Burris was the opening day second baseman for the Giants, was sent down, didn't hit well, 0 for 27 in June. Has since suffered a broken foot in AAA. And then all told, there have been 6 second basemen for the Giants this year, as Uribe fouls it at the plate, 1 and 2. And there they are, and we're going to be asking Bruce Bochy about Freddie Sanchez. So a half a dozen second basemen for the Giants this year. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Uribe. 2-2 now to the Giants shortstop. 2 down, nobody on base. And the Giants locked in another pitcher's duel. And I'll tell you, that Philadelphia-Phillies series was exciting. It had playoffs written all over it, really. The Phillies won 2 out of 3 in a great pitching matchup with Lincecum and Pedro Martinez in a 2-1 Philadelphia triumph. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Just misses away, and the count is full.
Well, getting back to that series, you talk about the Giant pitching. They allow only 3 runs in 3 games, and they lose 2 of them. I mean, if that doesn't just exemplify the Giant season this year.
That says it all. Breaking ball on 3-2, hit down the left field line, and this ball is foul. So a close call as Uribe sent a line drive down the left field line. And he'll come back and will do it again.
Well, Gallardo tried to trick Uribe, slip him a 3-2 curveball, and left it out over the plate. Uribe just out in front of it a bit. Hits it foul by a few feet. Guessing here comes a fastball about 94 on the outside part of the plate.
Again, the payoff pitch, and a tomahawk fly ball to left field, way back, and gone. Home run for Juan Uribe. Didn't make a mistake this time. And a home run into the upper deck, giving the Giants a 1-0 lead.
So you've got shadows. The guy throws 93-94. He just hit an off-speed pitch, 2 feet foul for a home run, and comes right back with another hanger. That just blows me away. That's 84 miles an hour floating up there. And when you've got an arm like Gallardo, 3-2, nobody's touching you. You've given up an infield single, and you're going to mess around with your third best pitch.
And that was deep. That was the 10th home run of the year for Juan Uribe, as Nate Shearholtz takes a call strike with 2 out. So Uribe with a home run. And you're looking at a Giant team now that has hit only 99 home runs. Only the New York Mets have hit fewer homers than the Giants in the major leagues, but they're making him count. Benji Molina last night, and so far Uribe today.
Well, how about this? This month, the Giants now have scored 9 runs. Okay, 9 runs this month, 5 home runs. But that's what this offense is, or lack of, whatever you want to call it. They don't have the ability to string together a number of hits. It's get a guy on, hope somebody hits one out, or get a guy on, hope somebody makes an error, get first and third, and somebody scores.
Shearholtz misses that pitch, and it's 2-2. Last year, the Giants hit only 94 home runs, which was the lowest amount over 162 games since the expansion Florida Marlins back in 1993. And Gallardo wanted that one. And the count goes full to Shearholtz. There's Fred Lewis. And giving Juan Uribe a well-deserved back rub. Or shoulder rub. 1-0, the Giants lead here in the 4th inning. 3-2 pitch with 2 out, and a one-hopper off the glove of Fielder, and he's not going to be able to make a play. And Shearholtz is safe at first base. It's been a rough day so far for Prince Fielder at first.
Let's look at Uribe. The last 2 pitches, this is an off-speed pitch that he hits just 3 or 4 feet foul, and then Gallardo comes back with another off-speed. That a slider. Just hangs it up there, no break, and Uribe deposits it deep in the left field seats. You know, and again, that's it. When you're throwing 92, 93, nobody's hit a ball hard against you all day long. Why mess around with your second or third best pitch?
Aaron Rowan fouled out to Prince Fielder his first time up. Diving back is Shearholtz. And they've ruled it a base hit for Shearholtz on that hard bounder off the glove of Prince Fielder. So Aaron Rowan the batter, and McGee playing close to the line at third. And the pitch now missing. 1-0 the count to Aaron Rowan, who had a career year with the Phillies just 2 seasons ago when he hit over 300, had 27 homers and 89 runs batted in, dropped in his first year with the Giants. Off-speed pitch, 1-1.
Well, he had some productive seasons, the White Sox and then the Phillies, and obviously those 2 places much better places to hit than San Francisco. With the Giants, they made a 5-year commitment to Aaron Rowan, and I think they had hoped to get better offense. No question, the effort, the defense that he plays.
And a bounding ball, fair ball, past McGee into the left field corner. And rounding second on his way to third, they're going to wave in Shearholtz, and he'll score easily. And in at second with a double is Aaron Rowan, and the Giants now lead it 2-0. So Rowan with his 56th run batted in of the year. And McGee was playing close to the line, but not that close.
Well, in this ball, Rowan gets around on it, just gets by Casey McGee. No, Aaron Rowan, remember, last night had a big 2-out RBI base hit to tie the game. Here he drives in Shearholtz. You see him hustling around. But 2 runs, I mean, that, Matt Cain hasn't seen 2 runs for a while. Not this early in the game.
So the Giants with 2 runs here in the 4th inning. And another runner at scoring position. They're going to walk Ishikawa to face Matt Cain, putting runners on first and second.
So not only does that base hit drive in a run, but what it does, it gets the pitcher up this inning. So in the 5th inning, you start at least with your leadoff hitter. It sets up the next inning to give you an option, or an opportunity, I should say, offensively.
So Ishikawa with his second walk, this one intentional. And the Giants with Rowan at second, Ishikawa at first, and Matt Cain coming up. Took a called third strike, but it was an adventurous at-bat for Matt Cain against Yovani Gallardo last inning, when he was looking to bunt over Ishikawa, who led off with a walk, and had 3 pitches right in his face as he squared a bunt, and was kind of fortunate that he got his bat on one of them. This breaking ball is in the dirt, 1-0.
I mean, Gallardo's really fallen in love with that breaking ball, and I'm not so sure why. You got Matt Cain up at the plate. Just go after him with the fastball.
And in for the strike. 1 ball, 1 strike. Gallardo giving up an infield hit with 1 out in the 2nd. Got out of that one. A double play helped him in the 3rd after he had walked 2. And then a 2-out home run and a couple of hits here. And the Giants leading 2-0. But the pitch in for the strike, 1-2 to Matt Cain.
So he started with a breaking ball, then 2 93-mile-an-hour fastballs that Matt Cain hasn't moved his bat. There has to be a fastball here. Unbelievable. I mean, he got it, but unbelievable.
Strikeout ends the threat, but the Giants on Juan Uribe's leadoff home run, RBI double by Rowan. Giants lead it 2-0. run, and they added another, and a 2-0 lead for Matt Cain. As the Brewers bat in the fourth inning, Frank Catalanato leading off, followed by the heat of the order, Ryan Braun and Prince Fielder. Catalanato bounced out to Velez his first time up, and looking to possibly bunt with Sandoval charging in, and it's taken for ball one. No pitch is in for the strike, and we had a chance to catch up with Bruce Bochy, the Giants skipper. Bruce, Freddie Sanchez, of course, has been rehabbing, set to come up. What is the plan with him now?
Well, he's played the last 2 nights, and he's going to play tonight again and get 4 at-bats, take the day off tomorrow, and then he'll join us at home.
Juan Uribe, the big home run. Talk about what he has meant in the clubhouse and to this ball club this year.
You know, he's so valuable in the ball club. He keeps the club loose. I can play him anywhere, second, short, third. He's probably going to start playing some third base. He supplies power. He's seeing the ball well right now. That's why he's in 5th spot. And he's just been so valuable for us all year. And the fact that we've been a little banged up, and I can put him anywhere.
Well, all right, that's Bruce Bochy, and done a terrific job as manager of the Giants. Sharply hit ground ball. Velez making the play to throw out Catalanato for the second time, and there's 1 out. And the Brewers relying on Ryan Braun and Prince Fielder. You talk about the long ball, something that the Giants have gotten today, but not much during the year. And you're looking at a Brewer team that comes in 3rd in the league in home runs, trailing only the Rockies with that rarefied air and the Phillies, who lead the league. So there's Fielder waiting, and Braun coming up. Braun popped up to Velez at second his first time up. 28 home runs, 9th in the league. And Fielder with 36 round trippers coming up next. First pitch taken for ball one.
Well, really, you talk about this offense with the Brewers, and it revolves around the 3 and 4 hitters, Braun and Fielder. And the next in line with RBIs is Mike Cameron, and he doesn't have 60. And so what that tells me is that if you can shut down the middle of the lineup or control it, there's not a lot of other people that are really going to hurt you. Granted, trying to shut these 2 down is a huge task, but with the injuries, as Ken Maka said, it's not as balanced as it was last year.
Well, Matt Cain is just looking to get the win. As we mentioned, his last 7 starts, either a no decision or a loss. And talk about Ryan Braun and how great he has been in his first 3 years. And look at that list, looking for his 100th home run. Pujols, Kiner, Matthews, so on down the line. And Teixeira, who is going to be a strong favorite for American League MVP this year. 2-2 to Braun.
Well, I don't think there's any argument about how important or how valuable either Ryan Braun or Prince Fielder are to this ball club. But again, at the end of the day, you've got to have the pitching. You've got to have the starting pitching. And you look at the success the Brewers had last year. It really revolved around CC Sabathia, Ben Sheets, the bullpen with Schaus and Boda and even Gagne. And gone are those guys.
And Trevor Hoffman, you wonder why he's not somewhere where he can help a team, get into postseason. And, maybe someone had claimed him on waivers. There's a base hit through the hole into left field. Ryan Braun with a 1-out single here in the 4th inning. That is the second hit of the game for Milwaukee. And Prince Fielder comes to the plate as the tying run. Fielder's fly ball was to Sheerholtz in right field his first time up. He is now 2 for 12 against Matt Cain. Cain against Fielder, and a shot hit deep for left field. Going back is Randy Winn. Way back, leaps, and it's off the wall. Rounding second, coming into third is Braun. They're going to wave him in. and here comes the relay. No throw, and the Brewers score a run. It's 2-1 on an RBI double by Prince Fielder.
Well, Prince Fielder picking up another RBI. He thinks he got all of it. Drives it to left field. Randy Wynn goes back. You see Prince singing, I got it. I ain't got it. I ain't got it. I better start running. Randy Wynn doesn't get all the way back to the wall, and then he jumps. In that situation, as an outfielder, it's difficult because of how hard the ball was hit. But you see, he's got another couple of feet that he could have gone to possibly catch that ball. He doesn't go back. He's got to retreat a little bit as far as back to the field to play the carom.
Looked like the timing aspect was there on that ball. In any event, Prince Fielder with his 122nd run batted in, leading the league. And Casey McGee takes a called strike. McGee safe on an infield hit. A check swing roller to third base. So the Brewers come alive here in the bottom of the fourth inning after the Giants scored 2 in the top half. Runner at second with 1 out, and a foul ball past the third base coach Brad Fisher, and Kane is ahead of McGee 0-2.
Now Matt Kane wants to throw a pitch that is out of the zone, something that McGee can't hit. This is where you want to go way away, either a fastball or a breaking ball.
0-2 to one of the top rookie producers in the league, and a good stop by Molina. 1 ball and 2 strikes. As we mentioned, Casey McGee has 10 runs batted in his last 5 games and has hit the last 3 home runs that the Brewers have struck. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 away in the Brewers' 4th inning. Fly ball hit deep to center field. Aaron Rowan on the warning track makes the catch. Fielder will tag up and go to third, and there are 2 gone for Milwaukee. Couldn't hit it any farther without it going out.
Well, you see Prince Fielder, he realizes that Aaron Rowan is camped under it and he's going to catch the ball. Thus he goes back to tag. If that's a situation where Rowan is having to streak after the ball, run it down, as a runner you go halfway, but when the big league outfielder shows you that he's camped under, you've got to assume he's going to catch it. You tag up, get to third base.
So 2 down, and Fielder at third. Jody Garrett took a called third strike, and another pitch in the dirt, and Molina is there. 1-0 the count to Garrett. Native of the Chicago area, a history degree from Stanford. He could teach us a few things. Mr. Karros. That pitch is inside, 2-0.
Fellow Pac-10 school.
Now,
it was at UCLA. It's rooting for my Bruins today as they take on the San Diego State Aztecs.
Well, we're talking academics right now at Palo Alto.
Football.
No, we're talking academics at Stanford, where Mr. Garrett excelled. And there's a pop-up. Benji Molina chases it off the screen, and it's 2 balls and 1 strike. Not saying he didn't have great grades in Westwood.
What are you saying, Dick?
And a souvenir for a young Brewer fan. He'll remember this one. On a Labor Day Saturday, catching a ball. It'd be funny if he had 3 or 4 of them already at home. 2 balls and a strike. Matt Cain trying to get out of this inning, and a fly ball down the right field line, and a drifting foul and out of play. Matt Cain, who's 1-3 lifetime against these Brewers, and 1-1 this year, as we mentioned, lost to Gallardo right here on June the 26th. Named to the All-Star team, didn't get into the ball game after a really impressive 10-2 record at the break. 2-2 to Garrett. Another foul ball. Good at bat for Jody Garrett here in the 4th.
Well, he's doing a nice job of extending the bat, just missing on pitches. when a hitter continues to extend the at-bat, more than anything what he's doing is he's giving the opportunity to the pitcher to miss his spot, to make a bad pitch.
Prince Fielder on at third base after Ryan Braun singled sharply to left field, launched a double off the top of the wall, driving in Braun with the first Brewer run. He's on third and just getting a piece of it as Garrett chased that pitch and stays alive. What a great pitching staff the Giants have had, and now Brad Penny into the picture. And what a terrific debut he made with 8 scoreless innings against the Phillies on Wednesday, en route to a 4-0 Giant triumph. And a shot foul. In fact, Bruce Bochy said, look, we're not looking you to go deep in this game. Maybe 5 innings, and what did he do? Give him everything and then some.
Well, I think Brad Penny almost took that as a challenge. I had an opportunity to talk to him yesterday, and he said he felt well, and you see Brad Penny right there getting some work in. Tim Lincecum on the right. That's a fresh head of hair right there. Anyhow, Brad Penny, though, he threw a great ball game the other day, and the velocity was up 95, 96. Had a good splitter, the breaking ball anywhere he wanted it.
And Garrett fouls another one out of play, and really making Kane work here with 2 out and a runner at third base. 5 foul balls by Garrett.
It'll be interesting as Penny will have an opportunity to pitch against his old ball club, the Los Angeles Dodgers. Going to get a start in San Francisco, and then 2 weeks from today, he's scheduled to start on Fox Saturday Baseball. We'll have that game at Dodger Stadium. But what a pickup for the Giants. Add Brad Penny and his resume.
To the likes of Lincecum, Barry Zito, who's been outstanding since the All-Star break, Jonathan Sanchez of no-hit fame, and missing 3 and 2. So Jody Garrett with a terrific at-bat here as the Brewers have the tying run at third here in the bottom of the 4th inning, 2 down. And if Garrett can keep it going, J.J. Hardy will be next to hit. This will be the 10th pitch of the at-bat for the Brewers center fielder. He strikes out. That's the 5th strikeout of the game for Kane, but the Brewers get a run, and then it's 2-1 after 4. The top of the fifth inning, the Giants 2 runs, 4 hits. The Brewers 1 run on 3 hits. And the top of the order, Eugenio Velez leading off against Giovanni Gallardo. And a breaking ball, fair ball down the right field line, past Fielder into the corner, chased by Catalanato, and going into second, rounding second, going into third base, and diving hit first with a triple is Velez to start the Giant fifth inning. That is the third extra base hit for the Giants.
Velez gets a fastball down and in. He hooks it just past Prince Fielder at first base. Goes into the corner. Frank Catalanato has to go into the corner to retrieve the ball. Velez speeding around the bases. When he gets to second, he picks up third base coach Tim Flannery, waving him all the way. Oh, look back. Hey! There we go.
And there you see the Giant leadoff hitter who replaced Aaron Rowan in that role, and Randy Wynn fouling off the first pitch out of play, and a Giant fan here in Milwaukee grabs the ball. So 1 strike to Randy Wynn, who has bounced to second, hit into a double play. You saw Velez on at third base, talking to Tim Flannery, his third base coach. Nobody out. The infield not playing in against Randy Wynn, and the count is 1-1.
Well, and again, the reason why you don't play in this situation, you don't want to give up the big inning. You play in, Randy Wynn gets on base, then you've got Sandoval and Molina coming up.
Another foul ball out of play, 1-2.
You know, you figure 1 run, okay, 2 runs, but you just don't want to give up a 3 or 4 run inning. You hope Gallardo can strike Wynn out. Then maybe you bring the infield in with Sandoval up at the plate.
So far, Sandoval and Molina are 0 for 4. Each have struck out once, and the breaking ball is up high. 2 balls and 2 strikes. And Wynn checking with Flannery, the third base coach, with Velez there. Giants leading 2-1. I'll tell you what, in the game in which Kane is pitching as he is, the 2-run lead is a big one. And a line drive to the opposite field. Ryan Braun going, and it's over his head. Scoring easily is Velez. And going into second with a stand-up double is Randy Wynn. So he fouled off a couple of pitches to the left, and then he goes to the opposite field, knocking in his 20th run of the year, and the Giants leading it 3-1.
Well, this is a nice at-bat for Randy Wynn. A fastball out over the plate. In this situation with the runner on third, especially with 2 strikes, all you are trying to do as a hitter is make contact. Don't try to do too much with it. Randy Wynn stays within himself, drives the ball over Ryan Braun's head.
And Ryan Braun, playing in left center field against the left-handed batter, had a long way to run to begin with. So here's Sandoval, who bounced out and struck out. Giants with nobody out, a run in, and a runner in scoring position, and a mammoth swing on a fastball. 0-1.
Now this for me is the big at-bat because it's a 2-run game right now. Man on second, Sandoval needs to get Randy Wynn to third base. You'd like to make it a 3-run game. You get Wynn over to third, then maybe get him into score, but you've got to get him to third somehow.
And a foul ball, and it's 0-2 to Sandoval. Giovanni Gallardo, who faced 7 men last inning, giving up the home run to Uribe, the first Giant run, and then the RBI double by Aaron Rowan. So 4 extra base hits of the Giants' 6 hits so far in this game. That's Randy Wynn at second. And the switch hitting Pablo Sandoval. With the count 0-2, nobody out. Breaking pitch fouled back. J.J. Hardy trying to keep Wynn close to second base by shading over toward the bag before the pitch. There you see Hardy. Wynn unable to take the big lead. There you see going back to his set position. Another foul ball back on the fastball. Still no balls, 2 strikes to the Giant home run and RBI leader.
Well, you just mentioned the Giant home run and RBI leader. Well, right now, you're not trying to be the home run or RBI leader up at the plate. You're trying to be the guy that can get Randy Winn to third base. Let your teammate drive him in.
Takes the fastball away. 1-2. Benji Molina on deck for the Giants. Giants, we mentioned, won 5 out of 7 before they went on the road to play the Phillies. They swept the Colorado Rockies, and that's where they really came forward in that wild card as Sandoval strikes out on a fastball up in the zone for the first out. Second time he's gone down, and that is the 6th strikeout of the game for Gallardo. Well, this summer, please join Major League Baseball and the People All-Stars among us in your community by signing up to volunteer at MLBGoBeyond.com. By the way, Chevy honors the spirit of community, supporting the 2009 Roberto Clemente Award. So cast your vote at Chevy.com/Clemente, and you could win a trip to the World Series. Jeff Suppan and Barry Zito, and what a great job they have done in their respective communities. We'll tell you a little bit more about that. Benji Molina, the batter here. Breaking pitch in the air down the right field line. Coming over toward the line, Catalanotto makes the catch, faking the tag and going back is Winn, and that'll be the second out. So Molina flying out to Catalanotto in fair territory, and they're 2 down.
And right there, Dick, that's a sacrifice fly. Should have been a sacrifice fly. They had the same problem the other night with a leadoff double. Renteria grounded to short. Sandoval then gets the runner to third base. Molina flies out. Again, if they would have just executed, that's another run. And, it's not as if the Giant offense produces all kinds of runs. So when they do get opportunities, they've got to take advantage.
And you got to have smart at-bats. And you wonder what it is that makes, hitters do what they do. Juan Uribe, 2 for 2, and his home run, and a deep home run into the second deck, giving the Giants a 1-0 lead last inning. The Giants scored twice. Brewers came back with a run in the 4th. The Giants have answered that here in the 5th. 1-0 with 2 down, and the pitch outside on the breaking ball.
Well, I don't know if it's so much about being a smart at-bat as much as it is trusting your teammates. I mean, I understand Pablo Sandoval, he's the number 3 hitter. He's the man on the team. He's up there. He wants to do the job. He's trying to do the job. It's not as if he's saying, well, you know what, I'm going to just drive him in. The problem is, you don't have guys around you that you really trust. You figure, you know what, if I'm not getting him in, I'm not so sure anybody else is. And I look at some other ball clubs. For me, the guy that stands out, Chase Utley of the Philadelphia Phillies, one of the best hitters in the game and probably one of the most selfless hitters in the game.
Phillies, though, have a deeper batting order of hitters and a slow chopper. Third baseman McGee makes the play to first. So Gallardo does a good job of pitching out of a jam after the Giants get a run to lead it 3-1. combination of flavor and refreshment, Budweiser, the great American lager. Bottom third of the order facing Matt Cain, who now has that 2-run lead, 3-1, as the Brewers bat in the bottom of the 5th inning. Hardy hit into a force out to end the 2nd inning. Breaking pitch is inside, ball 1 to him. And there's a slider for a strike, 1-1.
I think this is an important inning for Matt Cain. The last inning, the Giants scored 2 runs, but he comes out and gives up a run to the Brewers. Again, the Giants score here. Important to keep the momentum.
Fly ball to center field. Aaron Rowan has room and makes the catch. And Hardy is retired for out number 1. Well, next week the season begins with a Fox NFL Sunday doubleheader. First, Brett Favre makes his Vikings debut. They battle the Browns. The Cowboys take on the Bucks, or the Eagles square off against the Panthers. And then the Redskins take on the Giants. The 49ers battle the Cardinals, or the Rams take on the Seahawks. Coverage begins next Sunday with America's #1 pregame show at noon Eastern, 9 Pacific. So check your local listings for the game and start times in your area. Jason Kendall taking a strike, so Brett Favre will play a game in earnest for the Vikings. Steve Smith for the Giants, and without Plexico Burress, no longer Amani Toomer. Who are the Giants going to go to? And of course Frank Gore with over 1,000 yards and the key running attack for Mike Singletary's 49ers. Kendall struck out his first time up. Foul ball on the 1-1 pitch. 1-2 with 1 out here in the 5th. Matt Cain has struck out 5. And he has not walked a batter. Struck out the side in order in the 3rd inning. And a breaking pitch, comebacker that Cain will handle, and Kendall's retired for the 2nd out. And that'll bring up Gallardo, who struck out his first time up. By the way, the White Sox and the Red Sox playing today, and the White Sox winning last night, leading 4-0 in the 7th. And Gavin Floyd, who's had a good year, had a perfect game going. But Nick Green ended the perfect game with a single in the 6th inning. And the Red Sox are struggling. They have only a 2-game lead over the Texas Rangers for the wild card in the AL. Strike 1 to Gallardo. Another breaking pitch fouled out of play. Each pitcher has retired the side in order so far, but in the 1st inning, as the Brewers went in order, and now Cain trying to get Gallardo for the 3rd out in a 1-2-3 5th. Foul back on the screen, 0-2.
Gallardo getting his rips in right now. Really the only hard hit balls, though, for the Brewers last inning, Prince Fielder and Ryan Braun. Outside of that, Matt Cain has kept the hitters off balance. A lot of swings and misses.
Off the end of the bat, and Cain quickly off to the mound will tag out Gallardo, and that'll do it. 1 unassisted, 1-2-3 inning. We go to the 6th, 3-1, San Francisco. and DirecTV. Follow your favorite team no matter where you live with NFL Sunday Ticket on DirecTV. By Olive Garden. When you're here, you're family. And by Catawet. Giants out hitting the Brewers 6-3 and leading 3-1. Nate Shearholtz, who struck out and was safe on an infield hit and scored a run, came around on the double by Aaron Rowan in the fourth inning, takes ball one. Shearholtz, 25 years old in his first full year from San Ramon, east of San Francisco. That's in for the strike 1-1. Shearholtz will be followed by Aaron Rowan and Travis Ishikawa, the 6, 7, and 8 hitters for the Giants against Giovanni Gallardo. Foul ball past Roberto Kelly, the first base Giant coach. So it's 1-2.
And you talk about the Giants, and we spoke to Bruce Bochy about after this road trip how many games they have within their division. They've got a stretch where they play the Dodgers, Rockies, Dodgers. 9 games. And that really makes or break the wild card effort.
Comebacker. Shearholtz is retired. First out here in the 6th inning. Bring up Aaron Rowan. Giants still have 3 games left against the Rockies, and those 3 will be at home. As Rowan, who doubled home the Giants' second run in the 4th inning, 1 for 2 on the day, now with 56 runs knocked in. Gallardo has struck out 6 and walked 3. Starts him off with a breaking pitch inside and low. Giovanni Gallardo, 23 years old, getting a couple of days extra rest, and Eric has talked about the number of pitches. Not only has he thrown this year, but throughout his career, and going to get some more rest. He won't automatically go on 4 days rest, probably more than that, even for his next start.
Well, Ken Maka spoke to us both before the game, and he made mention of that. You know, that he's cognizant that Gallardo has thrown a number of pitches this year. And really, you know, you look at the last month of the season, why continue to run him out there, you know, put more burden on his shoulder? I mean, this is a guy that you could build a rotation around.
2-1 to Aaron Rowan. I mean, that's one of the hopes you're talking about of a team that sorely needs good young pitching. And they have a great prospect in Gallardo. Swing and a miss, 2-2.
There's no question he has a great arm, and he's starting to learn how to pitch. You know, I think with a lot of young pitchers, they don't realize how good they are. They don't really trust their stuff. Try to trick a lot of hitters. That's where they get into trouble. But that comes with maturity.
2-2 pitch, and it's hit into the air to right field. Catalanato coming in to make the catch for out number 2. Here is the in-game box score for the Giants, brought to you by Hyundai. Introducing the all-new 306 horsepower rear wheel drive Hyundai Genesis Coupe, in case you didn't know it.
Got to be careful how you say that there.
It's real and it's a rear. And there you see the Giant box score and a slew of extra base hits. Travis Ishikawa has walked twice, once intentionally. Looks at ball 1 outside. Gallardo was on the disabled list most of last year, had knee surgery in May. And there you see the Giants trying to stay cool. It's pretty reasonable today.
Yeah, real pleasant day today. You know, not humid at all. High mid-70s, high 70s. Great baseball weather. You see Gallardo in the pitch count. You see that 32 in the 4th inning.
And a line drive hits to center field. Garrett makes the play, and a 1-2-3 inning. The first for Gallardo since the first. 3-1, Giants lead, middle of the 6th.
Kane up at the plate. All he's trying to do is bunt the ball. Ball runs in on him. That's not the same one. That's pitch number 2. Again, up at his head. That's a third. Different time. 3 up at his head. That's the Flomax replay of the day. You know, 1 time is fine, but 3, oof.
And Felipe Lopez, 0 for 2, leading off against Matt Cain. Offers it the first pitch, fouls it out of play. Matt Cain has allowed 1 run on 3 hits, has struck out 5. 1 run coming on Fielder's double, driving in Ryan Braun in the 4th inning. What else is new for the Brewers attack? And there's a roller going to his right as Velez makes the play smoothly for out number 1 here in the Brewers' 6th. And now it's time for a DirecTV game break. 1 and 2 and 1 out. Paul Konerko with a single to center field off of Tim Wakefield. Scott Podsednik and Jason Nix score to make it 2-0 in favor of the White Sox. And then in the 5th inning, with 2 out, Gavin Floyd strikes out Jason Bay, and the White Sox leading 3-0. So follow your favorite MLB team no matter where you live with DirecTV. With 1 out, 1-0, the count to Frank Catalanato, who twice has bounced to Velez at second base. And fouls it off 1-1. American League wild card race, and the Texas Rangers hang tough. 2 games behind. The Red Sox took 2 out of 3 from the Rays during the week. Tampa Bay had a big chance there. And we got to wonder about the Red Sox pitching, starting pitching, which looked so solid just a couple of months ago.
Well, it is a big question. You know, just as in Texas, Josh Hamilton down right now, Michael Young out for 2 weeks. And one thing I will say, though, Ron Washington has those guys playing down in Texas. Done a great job this year.
And they're getting better pitching than anyone had anticipated.
Well, they really are. Yeah, no question. Mike Maddox, who used to be the pitching coach here in Milwaukee, left and has done a great job in Texas. See the division leaders right there, the Yankees, Detroit, and the Angels.
Fly ball hit to right center field, going back Aaron Rowan, and he makes the catch on the warning track. That was hit deeply by Catalanato, and Aaron Rowan just tracked it down for out number 2.
Well, you see, when Aaron Rowan goes after this ball initially, it's more of an across route, and then he decides to go deep. He's one of the best center fielders in the game, and as far as not being afraid, he has no fear out there. Able to go after the ball and catch it.
And the key, always getting the jump.
Yep.
So here is Ryan Braun, who singled sharply in the 4th inning, driven home by Prince Fielder for the only Milwaukee run. Checks a swing on a breaking pitch, and it's 1-0. Carlos Villanueva is warming up in the bullpen for the Brewers. We're in the bottom of the 6th inning, and the Giants lead Milwaukee 3-1. 2 down, nobody on base, big cut and a miss. And Braun nowhere near that Matt Cain offering, and it's 1-1. Matt Cain looking for his 13th win of the year, which would tie a career high 3 seasons ago at a 13-2-12 record. And reaching and chasing that pitch outside. And right now, Cain is making Braun not look very good at the plate. Ahead 1-2.
No, it doesn't look like Ryan Braun is picking the ball up out of his hand at all. First a curveball, then a slider, both on the outer part of the plate.
The 1-2. Not chasing that time. Evens the count, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Last year, Matt Cain was 8-14, 7-16 the year before. We mentioned the 13-12 mark as a rookie. So this is the first year he really is pitching in well over 500 as a starting pitcher. It remains 2-2.
Well, interesting. At 2007 and 8, Matt Cain had the most losses of anybody in the major leagues, tied with Barry Zito with 30. But with that, he also had the lowest run support of anybody in the major leagues. So again, not necessarily all on him. Got to get a little help from the offense.
Here's the 2-2 pitch. And he lets go of that slider away. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Matt Cain has gone to the full count a couple of times this afternoon, but has not walked a hitter. And he would like to retire Braun here. He's a big hitter with Prince Fielder on deck.
Well, let Braun hit it out of the park. You don't want to walk him and then have Fielder possibly put one out to tie the game.
And it's chopped to third. Sandoval, long throw to first, in time. And a 1-2-3 inning. We've completed 6. It's 3-1. Both of these pitchers, and they certainly can, Eric.
Well, both live young arms. Gallardo throwing a few more pitches than Matt Cain. That's why he's out of the ball game. But velocity is not a problem with either one of these guys.
Carlos Villanueva has come in relief of Yovani Gallardo, who worked 6 innings, gave up 3 runs on 6 hits, walked 3, struck out 6, gave up the home run to Uribe. And Matt Cain takes strike 1 from Villanueva. Cain has struck out twice. Villanueva pitched a scoreless 9th inning last night, giving up a hit. And a breaking ball in for strike 2, making his 49th appearance in relief as Villanueva. He has made 5 starts. His record is 2-10 with an ERA of 5.85. The 0-2 to Cain, and down he goes for the 3rd time. Well, next week on Fox Saturday Baseball, the playoff race heats up. The Braves look to gain ground in the NL wild card when they take on the Central leading Cardinals, or the White Sox battle the AL West leading Angels, or the Mets take on the NL East leading Phillies. All good games. Fox Saturday Baseball, presented by Budweiser, returns next week at 4 Eastern, 1 Pacific on Fox. Eugenio Velez, who is 1 for 2 officially, walked in the 3rd and tripled and scored the Giants' 3rd run in the 5th inning. Takes ball 1. And Velez really racing around the bases, getting to third base, showed his speed, valuable as a leadoff hitter with a very open stance. And a line drive, base hit to right field. Second hit of the game for Velez. And one out, one on. Well, we mentioned the Angels next week and how hot have they been. Let's go back to the ALCS in 2002, Game 5, Twins and Angels. Adam Kennedy.
He becomes the third player ever in League Championship Series history to hit 3 home runs in a game.
And he was the 6th player to hit 3 home runs in a Major League postseason game, just the 3rd in LCS history. There goes the runner, and sliding in safely is Velez. That's his 6th stolen base of the year in 7 tries, and the Giants have a runner in scoring position.
Bruce Bochy putting Velez in motion there. You know, I think that Bochy would like to do that more often. The problem is he just doesn't have the personnel. You know, how do you jumpstart an offense? You try to create movement. But again, if you don't have the people that can do it, it doesn't do any good to run into outs.
There's Randy Wynn, hoping to run with a double. Swings and misses strike 1. Wynn has had his problems at the plate, but not when there are men in scoring position. Randy Wynn. Now with the 48 RBIs. Velez with the leadoff second and a foul ball out of play. 1 ball and 1 strike. The Giants with the stolen base came in 10th in the league in that department. So you're right. You've got to have the right people and the right setup. Randy Wynn actually at the plate has 13 stolen bases. And he leads the Giants in that department. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Villanueva, the second Brewer pitcher of the day. Breaking pitch in tight. 2-2.
Well, and you talk about Randy Wynn, you know, leading the team in stolen bases. That's great, but he's only got an on-base percentage, at least coming into today, of .314. So while he runs every once in a while, you know, he's not really a threat because he doesn't get down to first base enough.
Giants lead 3-1, and there is Hardy at second base, and stepping off the rubber is Villanueva as Hardy got behind the base runner, Velez. J.J. Hardy, who's back up with the team and not really happy when he was sent down recently. And there's a swinging bunt in front of the plate. Villanueva's only play to first, the fielder. And as good as getting the runner over is Wynn as Velez goes to third. And there are 2 down here in the 7th. And that'll bring up Pablo Sandoval, and a chance. Sandoval now is 1 for his last 14. And for the Giants, what a time for him to start getting back on track and to tack on another run here in the 7th.
Well, again, that's something that if they can win a few games without him being productive, they have to feel pretty good about themselves. Freddie Sanchez, his return right around the corner. That's some offense right there. You know, when he was playing, Sanchez, that is, every day in the lineup, they were averaging almost a run per game more than when he was out of the lineup. And a run per game with this pitching staff.
You magnify that. Sandoval going after the pitch up in the zone. 1 ball and 1 strike. Lost to Shane Victorino of the Phillies in the fan vote for the final roster spot on the National League All-Star team. But he's a fan favorite and a colorful figure and loves the game, loves to play the game, and you can see it. 1-1 pitch, popped up, fielder, looking for a play near the box seats, reaches in and can't make it, as it bounced out after it landed in the third row. Well, he'll swing at anything. There isn't a pitch Sandoval doesn't like.
You see that pitch down in the zone, and he's getting a reputation of being one of the best bad ball hitters in the game. You see him going after everything.
That's his style. Behind on the count, 1 ball and 2 strikes, and gets his bat on the ball and lifts it out to Catalano in right field, who makes the catch to retire the side. 1 hit, runner left in scoring position. Brewers come up in the home 7th, trailing the Giants 3-1. For Men. Stay in the game with Just for Men hair color. By Hyundai Assurance, a little certainty in uncertain times. And by Pepsi. Pepsi is the official soft drink of Major League Baseball. Prince Fielder leading off for the Brewers in the 7th against Matt Cain. Takes up high, ball 1. Fielder with an RBI double, knocking in the only Brewer run in the 4th, his 122nd run batted in. He leads the major leagues. He is 1 for 2 on the day. And you can see Matt Cain keeping the ball away from Fielder, Eric, and it's 2-0. Wise move.
Well, it is a wise move, but again, what you don't want to do is give him a free pass. Look at that hat there, right there. Prince, I like it.
Looks like a king the way that that crown is so high. As Cain falls behind 3-0.
It's one thing to be careful when that's the tying run up at the plate, but again, even if he hits the ball out, you're still ahead.
And that is the first walk given up by Matt Cain. A leadoff pass to Prince Fielder. And so you're absolutely right that all it can be is 1 run, but now the tying run comes to the plate as Dave Righetti, the Giants pitching coach. 10 years he's been the Giant pitching coach and an outstanding pitcher in his own right, including a no-hitter. Casey McGee 1 for 2 with an infield hit. Seems like he's had a steady diet of RBIs in the last 5 games, trying to get at least 1 here as he fouls it hard off the screen in front of the Giant dugout.
Yeah, that's a fastball in off the plate. McGee not late at all, turning on it. But really, the only reason he hit it foul, it was so far inside. Trying to sneak one in, opens up quick. Yeah, it tells you right there, as a pitcher right there, you've got to come back with a breaking ball in the outer half of the plate.
Fielder on at first, not much of a lead. And into the dirt on the breaking ball, 1-1. Casey McGee came up with the Cubs and was claimed off of waivers last October. And you know what he wants to do when his career is over? He wants to be a TV weatherman. He wants to be a meteorologist. So he must know pressure, right? Highs and lows. No pun intended, but there it was. 1-1 outside, 2 balls and a strike.
A weatherman.
2-1 to Casey McGee. Nobody out, and the Brewers with a run at first base, trailing 3-1. McGee has 13 home runs on the year. Jody Garrett is on deck. So the Brewers hang in there. Remember, they came into the game 3rd in the league in home runs. That's on the corner. Good pitch by Matt Cain. 2-2.
Definitely a pitcher's pitch right there. As a hitter, you're looking for something that you can drive that ball probably about 3 or 4 inches off of the plate. But home plate umpire Dale Scott giving the pitch to Matt Cain.
In the dirt, and a good stop again by Benji Molina. He's had a few of those today with Cain on the mound. And one of them, of course, was a runner at third base earlier when the Fielder was on at third.
Well, and as a hitter right now, you can eliminate that pitch. I mean, Matt Cain hasn't been able to get that breaking ball over consistently. And right now, if you're McGee, you look for a fastball here. If he throws you a curveball for a strike, you tip your cap. But you've got to be sitting on something hard.
Here's the payoff pitch to Casey McGee. Ball 4. So after not walking a hitter into the 7th, back-to-back walks issued by Matt Cain. Runners at first and second. The tying runs are aboard, and Dave Righetti will go to the mound. Sergio Romo is up and throwing in the Giant bullpen. So the Milwaukee Brewers, who are seemingly just playing to be spoilers the rest of the way. 4 games under 500. And Ken Maka has it playing hard. And that's 100 pitches, by the way, have been thrown to this point by Matt Cain.
Well, again, I think what set the tone is that first at-bat, or the first hitter this inning. You know, Prince Fielder, Matt Cain was so worried about him as far as not going to throw him a strike or let him hit the ball out of the park that he ends up walking him, and then he follows it up with another walk. Now he's got himself in real trouble.
Well, he's facing a guy who he has struck out twice, Jody Garrett, who looked at a called third strike in the 2nd, a swinging strike in the 4th to end that inning.
No, he's got to be bunting here. I mean, you would think he would be bunting. He's not bunting. But in this situation, I mean, I don't know why you would move the guys over.
Are you saying that you're seeing some signs where fundamental baseball is not necessarily being the order of the day?
Well, I can guarantee you, anybody that's wearing a Rockies uniform right now watching this is saying, hey, come on, why aren't we bunting here?
Here's the 0-1. And a good pitch to hit. Foul back on the screen, 0-2. So the bunt would be off in any event now with the count 0-2 with Garrett, with J.J. Hardy on deck for Milwaukee. So an opportunity with the Brewers down 3-1 and the first 2 runners on base here in the 7th. Got a good pitch there.
Good pitch right there to hit, just misses. But again, where you are in the season, what you're playing for dictates how you play the game and what you do in certain situations.
Fielder is at second, McGee on at first. And a bounding ball to the right side, gloved by Velez, gets the force, and that's all. Going to third base is Fielder. And Garrett, on a fielder's choice, is safe at first base. And 4-6 on the force play, so there's 1 away. And runners at first and third to J.J. Hardy.
We see Casey McGee coming in hard right there, and slides, and it doesn't really look like he does anything, but Ken Maka telling us prior to the game that Casey has battled knee issues all year long. But because he's been finally given an opportunity to play, he's been able to battle through it. Doesn't want to come out of the lineup, but obviously in that situation aggravated the knee issue.
That's, as you mentioned, affected him defensively. Came into the game with 12 errors at third base. And here's J.J. Hardy, who is 0 for 2. 3-1 the Giants lead. The tying runs are on base. First and third with one out. Hardy bounced into a forced play and fly to center. In the dirt once again, ball one. Prince Fielder is the runner at third base. He's at third for the second time in the game and was stranded there in the fourth.
And again, like I said earlier, Matt Cain doesn't seem to be able to control the breaking ball right now. As a hitter, you eliminate that. Basically sit on the fastball, maybe a slider, but the curveball, the minute you see that spinning, just spit on it.
Isn't it amazing that every time a pitcher makes the fake the third, the crowd boos? It's almost like they always yell for a balk when there is that kind of a stoppage.
I'll guarantee you, though, if the home team gets a runner out in that situation, those boos turn to, yeah, all right, yeah.
1-0 the count to Hardy. And just gets a piece of it off the end of the bat. 1 ball and 1 strike with 1 out. Dan Runzler, 24-year-old left-hander who exhibited a 95-mile-an-hour fastball and was impressive. Just called up by the Giants, joins Sergio Romo in the San Francisco pen. 1-1 to J.J. Hardy. Prince Fielder at third. Jody Garrett the runner at first. The Giants leading 3-1. And there goes Garrett. The pitch is taken for a strike. The throw to second, and he's out. So Jody Garrett is out. A great throw from Benji Molina to Velez, who was covering second for the second out.
Well, Molina, always known as one of the better defensive catchers in the game. Good throw. You see Garrett looking in the entire time, which really uncharacteristic unless it's a hit and run.
And a big second out. Fielder, of course, remains at third, but the count is 1-2 to Hardy. 2 balls, 2 strikes to the Brewers shortstop.
Again, I go back to the at-bat that Jody Garrett had with runners on first and second. I guarantee if Milwaukee's playing for a playoff spot, Ken Maka's not letting him hit in that situation. He's having him bunt, put runners on second and third.
And a ground ball to Velez, and he makes the play, and the Brewers, who had runners at first and second, less than 2 out, don't score. We go to the 8th, the Giants still up by 2. A 3-1 lead as the Giants come up in the 8th inning. Benji Molina followed by Juan Uribe and Nate Shearholtz against Carlos Villanueva in relief of Giovanni Gallardo. And the first pitch, a breaking ball for a strike. Molina 0 for 3 has struck out and twice flied out to Catalanotto in right. Molina coming back after missing 8 games with a strained right quad. His bat should help the Giants as he reaches for an outside pitch, fouls it off 0-2.
Well, Molina, at least he provides some sort of protection for Sandoval. I mean, offensively, you know, we've mentioned it over and over again. There just isn't a lot of presence. There isn't a lot of real thump in this lineup.
And striking out is Molina for out number 1, second strikeout for Villanueva. And now time now for a DirecTV game break. Bottom of the 2nd inning with 1 out. Melvin Mora hits his 7th home run to left center field off of Kevin Millwood to make it 3-2 the Rangers, and then Mora singles to center off of Millwood. Barkakis comes around to score, and the Orioles taking a 5-4 lead in the 8th inning against the Rangers. Follow your favorite MLB team no matter where you live with DirecTV. And the first pitch to Juan Uribe is a call strike. So it's amazing. You talk about teams that are over 500 and so forth, and somehow, some way, the teams that are out of it are really troublesome to contending teams down the stretch.
You know, it seems like it's always been that way, that you get a lot of these teams that are out of it that, you know, start playing a little more free as far as, you know, they try certain things, they put more pressure on the other team because they don't have anything to lose. You couple that with the fact you have the expanded rosters and you have some younger kids that the other teams don't know about, plus they're eager to show that they belong in the big leagues. You know, it's a potential headache for contending teams.
And there's no pressure on those teams. They have nothing to lose. For the Orioles, it's a feather in their cap if they can beat the Rangers. Juan Uribe, the count to him now. 2 balls and a strike. Uribe with a home run in the 4th inning with 2 out, giving the Giants a 1-0 lead. The Giants scored another run on Aaron Rowan's double. The Brewers answered that with a run-scoring double by Prince Fielder, and then Randy Wynn with a double in the 5th inning, and that's been the scoring today. 3-1, the Giants lead. They have out-hit the Brewers 7-3. The count now 3-1 to Uribe, with Shearholtz next. And a fly ball hit to left field. Braun had trouble with the sun at first, and then steadies and makes the catch for the 2nd out. So the sun is still a factor out in left field. Pepsi, the official soft drink of Major League Baseball, presents the August nominees for the MLB Clutch Performer of the Month award presented by Pepsi. Miguel Cabrera, the Tigers, very quietly getting the job done with a 6-game lead in the AL Central. Ubaldo Jimenez for the Rockies. And Cliff Lee lost last night, but has been a welcome addition to the Phillies. Deki Matsui for the Yankees. Kendry Morales, what a job he's done at second base. Carlos Pena for Tampa Bay, the Major League home run leader. 1-0 the count to Shearholtz, 1 for 3 on the day. Shearholtz scored on Rowan's double to give the Giants their 2-run lead back in the 4th. 2 down, nobody on. And the breaking ball in on the outside corner by Carlos Villanueva. 25-year-old from Santo Domingo in his 4th season. Foul ball. Villanueva appeared in 2 games in the National League Division Series against the Phillies last year. And he did pretty well. He faced 11 batters and retired all 11. As the Brewers made the postseason as a wild card for the first time since they were in the '82 World Series. That was against the Cardinals. 2 down, bases empty. The 1-2 pitch. And another foul ball into the upper deck in right field.
Well, you talk about the nice job that Villanueva has done and what he's doing today. The bullpen for this Milwaukee Brewer team has been very effective. Trevor Hoffman, 30 saves for the 14th year. You know, where their trouble has been with the starters. And that starting staff, over 5.5 ERA, or close to 5.5.
Another foul ball. Red Sox lost to the Chicago White Sox, and the Rangers are losing right now, but with that loss by Boston in Chicago, Rangers are right now a game and a half behind the Red Sox in the wild card race in the American League. So if they can come from behind and beat the Orioles, they would move to within a game of Boston. Meanwhile here, the Giants coming in the game behind Colorado in the National League wild card. What do you think is going to settle it? How about those Rockies? I mean, Jim Tracy, former Dodger Pirate manager, doing a great job of rarely do mid-season or early season managerial changes work. This did.
Well, I think more than anything, it just changed the culture in Colorado. It wasn't as if there were some notable personnel shifts or any strategic moves that were done, but just much more of a positive area. Wow. That ball was over his head, almost behind him. Was that behind him? That was behind him.
I'll say
that
over a little to the right.
Yeah.
But I'll give it to you on that.
I'm going to say behind him. That over him. That right there, that's one of the toughest places to get out of the way, because usually you back away and you could back right into that one. But getting back to Colorado, I think just what Jim Tracy had brought to that clubhouse, people were able to take a breath. I mean, there was a lot of tenseness just because Clint Hurdle and General Manager Dan O'Dowd, they were on the hot seat. I think that was a national story. The players sensed that.
They have been a red-hot team. Breaking ball, took something off that pitch, and Shearholz skies to Catalanato, makes the catch, and a 1-2-3 inning for Villanueva. We go to the bottom of the 8th. By Holiday Inn, official partner of Major League Baseball road trips. by EAS. Don't waste your workout. Finish it with EAS Mileplex. And by KFC. Now get the great taste of new Kentucky Grilled Chicken on the KFC Ultimate Value Menu. Brewers batting in the 8th against Matt Cain, and Jason Kendall, the number 8 hitter, gets a base hit. Could be extra bases down the left field line. Retrieving it is Randy Wynn, and here comes the throw to second. It'll be close, and safe at second. Kendall with a leadoff double. The ball bounced perfectly for Randy Wynn, so the play would be close at second.
Well, this ball just a shot by Pablo Sandoval. Randy Wynn does a nice job of getting over there, makes a good strong throw. Jason Kendall, one of the better running catchers, especially in his younger days. Not so young anymore, but he's hustling all the way. He's thinking second base. Gets in there just ahead of the throw.
And we're going to have a pinch hitter. And the bullpen activity. Affeldt is up for the Giants, and Corey Patterson, the former Cub and Washington National, is batting for Villanueva, and Bruce Bochy, not wasting any time, is going to go to the mound, and he's going to make a move. We'll be right back. Hold leaders. Jeremy Affeldt, who's just come in the game, leads the parade. And just as these relievers keep their team in the game, you too can stay in the game with Just for Men hair color.
Well, Jeremy Affeldt, 28 holds. You're going to get an opportunity to see him firsthand right now. Left-handers had a great season so far for these Giants. See that 1.76 ERA. Been great in situational moments.
Had his 28th hold last night, making his 63rd appearance. And Corey Patterson was announced as a pinch hitter. And now Mike Cameron, the veteran, is batting for Patterson. So Mike Cameron, the 36-year-old veteran, coming up and taking ball one. He is hitting .255 with 19 homers, 58 runs batted in. And has not come up as a pinch hitter this year.
Well, against Affeldt, though, he's absolutely had success. 5 for 13, 385 clip with 1 home run. You see Matt Cain right there, his numbers. 5 strikeouts in 7 innings.
And the tying run at the plate, and a bounding ball off the glove of Affeldt, recovers nicely and makes the play to first as Kendall goes to third. So Kendall, who led off with a sharp double down the left field line, and now Cameron gets him to third base with one out. And now Felipe Lopez will come up, and here is the in-game box score for the Brewers, brought to you by Hyundai, introducing the all-new 306 horsepower rear wheel drive Hyundai Genesis Coupe.
Well, you look at that offense, and there's not really a lot going on. Really the run revolves around Ryan Braun and Prince Fielder. They have an opportunity here. They had an opportunity the last inning, runners on first and second.
First two walks, and they couldn't get it done, and Jody Garrett was thrown out trying to steal. The first pitch to Felipe Lopez is a strike, 0 for 3 on the day. Switch hitter, now batting right-handed against the southpaw Jeremy Affeldt. And the pitch is inside, 1 ball and 1 strike. So the runner at third base, and the Brewers have had runners at third twice today, and both Prince Fielder, and he was stranded there. Milwaukee has left 3 on base. Breaking ball inside, 2-1. Brian Wilson, the Giants closer, throwing in the pen. Giants trying to hold on to this 3-1 lead, and the Brewers are making some noise once again. The pitch is outside. 3 balls and a strike to Lopez. Catalanotto is on deck for Milwaukee. And Matt Cain looking to see if Affeldt can hold and Wilson can save and get his 13th win of the year, which would tie Tim Lincecum for the club leadership and match his career high. 3 balls and a strike with 1 out. And a slow hit bounding ball. The run's going to score. Sandoval over to first, not in time. And Felipe Lopez beats it out for an infield hit. Kendall scores, and it's a 3-2 game now in favor of the Giants. RBI infield hit for Lopez, his 47th of the year.
Well, not much Sandoval can do right here, playing back. Comes in, makes a nice play with the glove, transfers, but Lopez hustling all the way, beats the throw. Again, Sandoval doing everything that he can.
And it's a 1-run game. And with 1 out, Lopez is on at first base. And so Jeremy Affeldt now will face Frank Catalanotto. Noah pinch hitter coming up as Dave Urghetti goes to the mound. Jason Bourgeois will come up and hit for Catalanotto. Bourgeois stole his first and second bases of his career last night and scored on a ground out by Prince Fielder. So a conference at the mound, and Urghetti goes back to the dugout.
But more than anything, what he has to do is stay out of the double play. I say that because you've got Ryan Braun and Prince Fielder following him. Either one of those guys can tie the ball game if they have the opportunity and a runner on base.
0 for 2 as a pinch hitter is Bourgeois, hitting .263 in 19 at-bats with a homer and 3 runs driven in. First pitch in tight, little rope skipping by Bourgeois, and the count is 1-0. So the Brewers with a run in here in the bottom of the 8th inning, trailing the Giants 3-2. And Lopez on at first represents the tying run for Milwaukee. And Ryan Braun on deck and Fielder to follow if the Brewers can hang in there, with Bourgeois now taking ball 2 outside. Chris Narveson, the left-hander, throwing in the Milwaukee bullpen. And now Claudio Vargas, a righty, is up. So the wheels are turning here in the late stages of this game here in Milwaukee on this Labor Day weekend as the Giants try to hang in there in the wild card. 2-0 pitch, 3-0 now. And 1 pitch away from putting the go-ahead run at first.
I mean, Affeldt has done a nice job. He induced the ground ball from Cameron and then the hopper from Lopez, but he didn't get the call at first base. He was a little exasperated and then hasn't been able to find the strike zone at all with his walk.
There's a strike, 3-1 now. Affeldt has been unscored upon in his last 6 games and 9 of his last 11. Now Trevor Hoffman gets up in the Brewers bullpen. The all-time save leader. Here's the 3-1 pitch and a fastball fouled out of play. Good pitch for Bourgeois to hit there, and the count runs full. Affeldt, 30 years old, from Spokane, Washington. And there is the great Trevor Hoffman. Giants lead it 3-2. Here in the bottom of the 8th inning, the Brewers have a run in on Lopez's RBI infield hit. Another foul ball, fastball back on the screen. And we'll do it again. And it seems like, when the beginning of the game said that the Giants live on the edge, and they're doing it once again today, Eric.
Well, they really do. I mean, they create so many issues for themselves, too. I mean, offensively, they had an opportunity earlier in the game. Randy went on second base. Nobody out. Ends up not scoring.
Payoff pitch, and back to the mound. Affeldt goes to second, throws the ball into center field, and unable to advance is Lopez, but at least the Brewers will get a run on at first base with 1 out. Runners at first and second as Affeldt threw it, trying to get it to Uribe, who was in motion towards second. That'll be an error charged to Jeremy Affeldt.
Yeah, not a smart play. You got to play that in your mind before Bruce Bochy coming to the mound. 3-2 game. Ryan Braun coming to the plate for the Brewers. Can't wait to see that at bat.
Wilson.
Yeah, that's a situation. He has the ball and he tries to make the tough play instead of just wielding the first base and getting the runner. Here he throws it away. He knows he's frustrated here, and now he's compounded the issue. Got runners on first and second. Ryan Braun up and Prince Fielder on deck.
And a double switch, and the Giants with Brian Wilson, who picked up his 33rd save last night. Andres Torres has moved into left field. Randy Wynn replaces Shearholz in right. Here's Ryan Braun, 1 for 3 with a single, and he scored a run. Big swing and a miss, strike 1. So the Giants lead at 3-2. There is Torres, and Wynn moves to right field. Braun and Fielder, one out. Giants looking and hoping for a double play to end the threat. Go-ahead runners at first base. Giants with a one-run lead. And Brian Wilson, their ace closer, missing outside. 1 ball and 1 strike. This is Wilson's 60th appearance as you take a look at how the Giants play Braun. Lopez is at second. And Bourgeois, the pinch hitter, who was safe on the fielder's choice, on at first base. Outside, 2-1.
Well, you see Wilson being extra careful, everything on the outer half of the plate. Hoping to take Braun's aggressiveness and use it to his advantage, Wilson's advantage.
So here's Braun with 28 homers and 95 RBIs, followed by Fielder with 36 and 122. A tall order. And Brian Wilson trying to put out the fire. 2-1 pitch, ground ball to third. Sandoval goes to second for 1. The throw to first, not in time. And Braun beats the throw, and Fielder's going to get a chance to come up. 2 out now, and runners at the corners.
Sandoval does a nice job of making sure he's going to get one. Bourgeois down to second base. A nice job of taking out Velez. Ryan Braun hustling the entire way. Now we've got Prince Fielder.
So Fielder facing Wilson. And Prince Fielder with a RBI double in the 4th inning. Walked his last time up, 1 for 2 on the day, and 122 runs batted in. Lopez, the runner at third. Braun on at first. In a Giant 3-2 lead. Fastball missing outside, ball 1.
Well, and this is a guy that you can really be careful with. And I say that because you've got the right side wide open. You don't want to give in and just have to throw a strike. If you end up walking him, you end up walking him. You have the bases loaded, you go with Casey McGee. But don't give in to Fielder, no matter what the count may be.
2 for 5 against Brian Wilson. And takes a mighty cut, fouls it off. 1 ball, 1 strike.
See, it's a fastball, and Fielder has a heck of a cut there. Wilson getting it up there in the high 90s.
Bruce Bochy looking on, and the Giants trying to squeeze through another one, leading 3-2. But the Brewers threaten. 2 out, runners at first and third. 1-1 to Prince Fielder. Big swing and a miss as Brian Wilson challenged the big first baseman. And the count now 1-2. And Matt Cain, who would stand to be the winning pitcher if the score holds, just watching and hoping in the Giant dugout.
Well, you want to see what something coming 100 miles an hour looks like. That was that last pitch. Wilson threw on the outer part of the plate, too.
One-two pitch. And a foul out of play behind the Giants dugout. Well, the count remains 1-2. Giants took a 2-0 lead in the 4th. Uribe home run, Aaron Rowan double. Brewers got a run back on a Prince Fielder RBI double, and the Giants on Randy Wynn's 2-base RBI took the lead, only to see the Brewers fight back here in the 8th to cut it to a run. And runners at the corners with 2 out, 1-2 to Prince Fielder. And a bounding ball up the middle, through. Oh, it's stopped by Velez, and he gets the force. What a play by Velez to rob Fielder of a base hit, getting the force to end the threat. And the Giants hold on to their 3-2 lead as we go now to the 9th. robbing Prince Fielder of a base hit that would have tied the game. Eugenio Velez. And now Aaron Rowan will lead off for the Giants in the top of the ninth against Claudio Vargas. Third pitcher of the day for the Brewers. 3-2 the score. The Giants lead. And a glittering defensive play keeps them in front. 1 ball and 1 strike to Rowan, who was 1 for 3 with a run-scoring double in the fourth. Mike Cameron is now the center fielder. And the pitch is in for a strike. Jody Garrett moving to right field, replacing Catalanato. 1 ball and 2 strike to Rowan. Ishikawa on deck. Here's the 1-2 pitch. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Rowan. Vargas, 31-year-old from Santo Domingo.
Well, we've talked about it. The Giants not doing anything easy. Had an opportunity to have a 3-4 run lead, weren't able to do it. Now they find themselves in a 1-run ball game.
And an off-speed breaking ball, and Rowan strikes out for out number 1. And this game-changing play is brought to you by Holiday Inn. Signs of change are everywhere. No question what this one is.
You see Velez going up the middle, making a nice play. Fortunately for the Giants, the ability to get a force out at second base. I don't think Velez would have been able to throw the runner out, even though it was Prince Fielder. You see Matt Cain, he's watching. Yeah. Jeremy Affeldt, he's excited.
Travis Ishikawa. Breaking ball, 1-0 the count to him. 0 for 1 with 2 walks. So with all the great pitching, you need the glove out there. You need the leather. And Velez, who's been down on the farm at Fresno 3 times, called up by the Giants and making pretty good impression. In fact, he led off Thursday with a home run against Pedro Martinez in the Phillies game, and you say, well, it looks like the Giants may do some damage. And Martinez settled down and beat Lincecum and the Giants 2-1. But great play here. Changeup is in for the strike, 2-1.
Well, you know, there's a lot of things that the Giants are not, especially when you start talking about offense. But what they are is they're resilient. A week and a half ago, they had a devastating loss to the Colorado Rockies, a 14-inning affair. Looked like they were done. Bruce Bochy rallied the troops. Guys came back. They had a great homestand. Played well in Philly. I mean, they only came out of there with 1 win. And you know, if they do get to the postseason, the one thing that they have experienced is living on the edge.
And strike 3, and Ishikawa goes down. Well, the NFL next week. Opening game, the Vikings and the Browns with Brett Favre. Cowboys at the Bucks and the Eagles against the Panthers. Redskins open with the Giants, the 49ers at the defending NFC champion Cardinals. So Favre, Donovan McNabb, and Eli Manning, 3 of the outstanding quarterbacks on display next week. And it all starts with America's #1 pregame show at noon Eastern, 9 Pacific. Check your local listings. Running up to bunt is Andrew Torres, who went into play left field last inning, and takes strike 1 from Claudio Vargas.
Where are you? You got the Eagles,
Torres. Excuse me.
You with the Eagles next week?
I do.
We're going to miss you for baseball for a few weeks.
I'll miss you
just
too,
when it gets hot.
I'll be. Well, it's hot where you live. I know that. And a fastball for a strike to Andres Torres. No balls and 2 strikes with 2 out. Vargas impressive here. They're looking ahead to the Brewer 9th inning. Casey McGee, Jody Garrett, and J.J. Hardy are the scheduled hitters against Brian Wilson. Breaking ball inside. And you know, you talk about great managerial jobs, what Tracy has done to bring Colorado way back, but how about Bruce Bochy, who gets forgotten here, I think, in the way the Giants have been limited in a lot of ways offensively, and no one has handled the bullpen better, I think, than Bruce Bochy. 1-2 pitch, broken bat, one hopper to Hardy, and a 1-2-3 inning for Claudio Vargas as Andres Torres is retired. We go now to the bottom of the ninth inning. Giants up by 1.
Now they have football helmets, they just pump the air in them.
Yeah. Oh, we're running short of balls. What does that ring on it?
It's a dog. Or maybe the Wile E. Coyote.
When they swing and I hear the bat, I freeze.
I look like right here first to make sure.
Fox sounds of the game, Casey McGee, but going after the first pitch and flying out to Randy Wynn in right field for out number 1 here in the ninth inning against Brian Wilson. Trying to protect the 3-2 Giant lead. Brian Wilson, who has more saves than any National League reliever the last 2 years, 74. At 41 last year in his first season as a closer. B. Weezy from LSU facing Jody Garrett. 0 for 3 on the day. First pitch a strike.
B. Weezy? Did I hear that correctly?
B. Weezy.
You guys are that tight. That's B. Weezy.
Well,
huh?
I understand that to be the case. He didn't tell me. Garrett is 0 for 3 against Brian Wilson, who lines a base hit over the Les into right field. So Jody Garrett represents the tying run at first with 1 out in the ninth inning with J.J. Hardy coming to the plate. Hardy is 2 for 3 in his times at the plate against Brian Wilson.
And this is a situation where, Milwaukee being out of it, you can force the issue. You can be aggressive. And this is a great time for Jody Garrett to pick a pitch and run, get into scoring position for J.J. Hardy.
Pitch outside, ball 1 to Hardy, who is 0 for 3. So Brian Wilson facing Hardy, and if On deck is Jason Kendall, who doubled last inning for the Brewers. And in the pitcher spot. 1-0 with one out. Giants up 3-2 in the bottom of the ninth. 2 balls, no strikes. Remember, the Giants have had their rough outings here in Milwaukee, losing 16 of their last 21 here in Brewtown, despite their win last night, or in addition to their win last night. Wilson trying to keep Garrett, who has 2 stolen bases, close at first. This time gets back without sliding. In case you're wondering, Brian Wilson has earned 1 save this year, going more than 1 inning, and has 2 blown saves while pitching 2 innings. Behind on the count, 2-0 to Hardy. Swing and a miss, 2-1.
He just reared back right there and challenged J.J. Hardy. 97-mile-an-hour fastball. One out single, giving the Brewers some hope here. And again, you've got to focus on the hitter. Be aware of the runner, but focus on the hitter.
And that's down low. 3-1. And 1 pitch away from moving the tying run into scoring position for Jason Kendall.
Again, as we talked about, nothing easy for the San Francisco Giants this year.
Seems every one of their games is 2-1, 3-2. They won 4-0 the other day, and a swing and a miss. And the count is full. 3-2 to Hardy.
This will be interesting to see what manager Ken Maka does. You know, whether or not you put Jody Garrett in motion. I would. I'd put him in motion. Like I said, you got nothing to lose. At worst case, maybe strike out. You got a guy at second base. Hope Jason Kendall gets a hit.
Or a strikeout, throw out, double play to end the game. A lot of scenarios here. Here's the 3-2 pitch. Check swing. Strike 3 on the outside corner. And Hardy is out of there. And Brian Wilson gets the big second out here in the ninth.
Really a great pitch here by Wilson. This outer half of the plate, probably a couple inches off of the plate. Take an overhead view, absolutely off the plate. But as we've seen earlier, at least Dale Scott has been consistent. He's called that pitch all day long. So as a hitter, you can't be surprised by that call.
Here's Jason Kendall, the last hope for the Brewers. Doubled and scored a run his last time up and takes strike 1. Kendall 0 for 1 against Wilson, and he is 1 for 3 on the day.
You've almost got to run, I think, in this situation. What you're asking for, 2 consecutive base hits, or, hey, take your chances, try to steal a base, and then hope for a 1 base hit.
And he swings and lifts a fly ball to right center field. Calling for it is Randy Wynn. Collision, and the catch is made to end the game. Randy Wynn makes the catch as he bangs into Aaron Rowan to end the game. And the Giants hold on and win 3-2. And how much can you hold your breath if you're a Giant fan?
Well, Aaron Rowan going
Rowan
after.
Made the catch.
Great catch, runs over Randy Wynn. Giants hold on again.
And that'll do it.